Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. The beer's courtesy of Dominick. Thanks so much, Dominick. I really appreciate it. It's a homebrew. It's Tuesday. On Tuesdays, I try to test my palate. It's just a thing I came up with a while back. I drink a lot of the same kind of beer because it's what I like. So try to, once a week, at very least once a week, do something that's going to be a little either outside my norm or something I don't know about or whatever. And I do think homebrew is good to do on a day like today where I am really trying to push myself to experience new things. But also, this is kind of like, good for two reasons. That reason, but also it has a hop that I don't know. I think I might have heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. So he's calling this Flockin Juicy, which is a great name. And it has a pink flamingo on it. And it's a New England style IPA dry hop with Bru-1. That's the one, I don't know what that is. Vic Secret and Citra hops, 7.8% ABV. I love Citra. I love Vic Secret. So, yeah, really excited for this. There's a little bit of pressure I'm putting on myself, though, because he didn't tell me any of the tasting notes for the last one I did, which was probably a week and a half ago, maybe at this point. And he texted me, we got texting after I had it, and he watched the review and everything. And he's like, "Oh man, it's awesome! You got like some of the notes I was going for, So I which made me feel good because it was blind. I didn't know what he was going for. But then a little bit of pressure right now. See if we can do that again. It definitely has a very hazy appearance. Yeah, definitely going towards that butternut squash soup thing. It's kind of reminds me of like a grapefruit juice or a pineapple juice, but it's a little darker than that. And again, kind of approaching that butternut squash soup. Beautiful head, one finger. It's white. It's not barely off white. It's white. Compact bubbles. On the top, it's a little bit soapy looking, but under that layer, they are very compact, tight bubbles. I mean, it definitely looks the part. I mean, if you went to a brewery and asked for their New England style IPA and they poured this, you're so far so good kind of is the thing that's going through your mind, right? And that is definitely the case here. Let's get into the aroma. Smells good, I'll tell you that much. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet, so that's good. It's very fruity. There's a kiss of earth to help balance out how sweet and fruity it is. I swear I get like some strawberry, which I always associate with Mosaic. I tell you, so this is interesting, and again, as I'm really trying to like figure out what I'm, like all the sensory stuff, right? And I definitely get the orange juice, mango, and some peach rings that I've been getting from Citra. It seems like almost every time I have a beer that has Citra in it. So like definitely getting that stuff. Like that hop is showing through the way I think it does. The pineapple is more muted than I think Galaxy kicks out with the Vic Secret that's in this one, but it's there. But yeah, then there's like this little bit of earthiness, this sweet strawberry thing. Man, what else is that? It's definitely tropical. It's not coconut. It's not... Maybe something like lychee. I think it's lychee is how you pronounce it. Maybe it's that thing. But anyway, it smells fantastic. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. Thanks again, Dominick. Nice mouthfeel. Has the sweetness and that fruitiness up front. At least from the first sip, like bitterness does happen, but it definitely is not an overly bitter beer. Then it gets a little dry, and the finish is dry. Like as I'm talking now, definitely a nice dry sensation. Not bone dry, but between the upfront sweetness and fruitiness, and then the fact that it's like a dry finish right now, I want more, you know, because it's like, all right, I'm thirsty. It's like making me salivate, and I know when I first drink it, it's going to taste really good. And like what you want, you know, like the like primal, like, you know, sweet and salty, like you want these kinds of things. So it has that sweetness. So you're like, yes, I want more of this sweet fruitiness, you know. Yeah, there's like a kiss of, what is that? Going away from the fruity element. It's not quite, I wouldn't use the word dank, but there's like how I think earthiness is, and there's like this other little like offshoot. I can't place it. Okay, so definitely get more pineapple in the taste than I got in the aroma. It's a not very ripe pineapple. I almost wanted to say like dried pineapple, but it's not that sweet. It's yeah, I guess just like, I guess the closest thing would be a not particularly ripe pineapple. You get some of that orange, some of the mango. I'm not getting a ton of the peach that I was getting in the aroma. Maybe a little bit more like apricot. Dried apricot, yeah. There's this nice like lemon thing. If I was doing this blind, I would probably guess it had Nelson in it. But again, I don't know. I'll have to look it up after the video. What brew? If I can find like tasting notes for Bru-1, I'll put it in the description box below. But because it has like that lemon thing I get sometimes from Nelson. It's not full on white wine though either. But again, because it has this dryness, I think between the lemon and the dryness is why it's making me think, is it that white wine Nelson thing? But that's probably me taking it further than I should. I don't know why I keep making this hand gesture. Melon? Yeah, like cantaloupe, but more like honeydew melon. And again, not overly ripe. Not overly ripe. It does drink like an IPA. That ABV, it might have the same ABV as the last one. You know, I definitely see some breweries like 7.5 and higher. They'll start saying double IPA. I'm glad he said IPA. I think this drink's more like an IPA. Doesn't have the, for me anyway, doesn't have that sweetness and quite the fullness that a double IPA would have. So I definitely agree this is in the IPA realm. But it's not overly bitter. For me, the dry thing is the coolest thing because, you know, when I drink this style, you know, it's like my 3 criteria. You know, does it drink like a beer or is it just straight juice? This is juicy, but there is a little bit of like, oh yeah, you have like beer elements. So yeah, drinks enough like a beer. It's a beer. Fair enough. Does it taste good? Number 2, does it taste good? Yes, it does. The third thing is usually the trickier thing. Is it unique or is it just kind of like a paint by numbers? I think because of the dryness in this, it's somewhat unique, and it's like I said earlier. And again, it's not bone dry. Like, don't misunderstand me, but that dryness and then that initial sweet fruitiness, you just want to keep drinking this beer. It's really nice that way. I think that, yeah. You know, if I was doing this blind, you know, you try to think of it that way, right? Like if I knew nothing about this beer, I'd probably guess like 6.5%, 7% alcohol as well. So not that it needs to be more oomph or whatever, but like I think it does have a nice mouthfeel, but it's a little, but again, this is like that, some people call this a double alcohol wise, but it's not a double, it's an IPA. I don't think I would have thought this was a pale ale. But I guess this is what I'm saying. Here's the short version is despite the 7.8% ABV, I think this is more IPA than pale ale, but there's like a little bit like 10-20% pale ale mixed in kind of a thing. But anyway, I like it. It's super refreshing, which, you know, I just got done doing some projects and it's definitely hitting the spot there. It's just a very refreshing beer. But yeah, like I said, I'll look up what the tasting notes are for that Bru-1 hop. I'll put it in the description box below. Thanks again, Dominick. I really appreciate it. I love doing these home brews, so it's really rad. So thanks again. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.